All right. Woo! Okay, I just got home. I just finished the thumbnail and we're up. I haven't even changed. I don't even know where my jerseys are. They're probably probably still. It's been a rough couple days. Busy couple days for sure. Let's get it started, guys. Let's get it started. What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the Purple and Gold Bar Show. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000. Mr. Purple and Gold Bars at your service. Man, it's been a wild couple days, and it hasn't really revolved around the Vikings game, unfortunately. I know it was a rough game, but as you guys saw, mine and Q-Dog's reaction to the game, I know I think I made it pretty clear that I was very happy with the team, even though I was frustrated with the loss, because they continue to show fight. They continue to keep us in games. If we can be a little bit more consistent and have a little bit more discipline, some of these are going to go the other way. And so hopefully that consistency and that continuity comes as the season progresses. So hopefully that comes through JJ, because we know what Carson Wentz is. And but let us, MJ's here again. Oh, hold on, man, I'm so pissed. MJ says, man, I'm so pissed. We should have won that game. The refs, the run game, and Wentz screwed us. You know what? I don't want to sound preachy. I don't want to sound like that, but I don't know if I think I made my position pretty clear when it comes to blaming refs or play calling or bad plays, turnovers, and stuff like that, because you just got to put teams away. You know, we got to get better at that. We're not at that level yet, right? That's the next level. When we get there and we are that consistent and we can put teams away and capitalize on all the opportunities that our defense gives us, we'll be looking back on losses like this and being like, man, maybe that loss was something that kind of built the foundation of us learning how to play in big situations and to value consistency and discipline, because there was a lot of that. So I don't care that Grenard was held. I don't care that, some people want to say that the hold on Brandel when he did a hand swipe down to bring the guy down, that shouldn't have been. Some people, they're going to have their opinions, but at the same time, we were at the red zone 5 times. If we come up with 3 of those touchdowns instead of just 1, it's a whole different game. So we need to learn how to be more consistent. We need to get better in those situations. We can't shy away from the big moments like we have in the past. So it's okay. It's no big deal. I get the frustration. I get it. We're a winning organization. We're top 10 all time in franchise wins, and it's justified to feel like we're just tired of just winning. We want to do more. We want to get to the big game and then close out and break through. I don't blame anybody's frustrations. I get it. I'm not gonna I wasn't gonna throw stones at Jordan Addison for his missing the walkthrough and his immaturity. I'm not gonna throw stones at any Vikings fans that have those opinions, because before the JJ McCarthy era and before I kind of reassessed my vision of this game and how of this team and how it would go, I was very much like that. In the year that KOC started, I was screaming at the TV every single game about his play calling, how he always likes to force things in the red zone and lose drives, throw momentum away, So I understand, and I've been there. Believe me, I have been there. I have to work very, very hard, even when I watch the games this year and last year, to not let that emotion get the better of me and lose it. Not everybody's going to have the same level of patience or faith that I may have, and that's quite all right. We're all Vikings fans and brothers and sisters, in the same journey, in hopes that we will end up with a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to be upset with that take. I get it. Those two. I get. I I would have been livid. In prior years that we start off the game with a pick six and then a horrible interception and just ruining momentum. Right. I totally get everybody's concern. I'm not gonna judge anybody for that. And Mr. Bob. I understand, Mr. Bob. I totally get it, man. Absolutely. I do get that sentiment. And again, I'm sorry I'm not in Vikings gear, because of the Jays game. I live in. I have a small business that I run on the side, like a car service. I drive people to and from airports, Detroit as well as Toronto. So usually when I'm in those areas, I kind of wear appropriate stuff. So like my Michigan Wolverine stuff when I'm in the Detroit area, as well as Jays or Raptors gear when I'm in the Toronto or anywhere in Ontario, because it just limit kind of negative interactions. I'm not out here looking to get into scuffles or anything like that. So I do apologize that I'm not in the Vikings gear. I got a bunch of, I guess a lot of the car services in the area were fully booked up. And so I ended up getting fully booked yesterday. I didn't get home till very, very late. I got back somewhere in the first or second quarter of the Seattle game. So I never even got to really see the Lions Bucks game. I was kind of just seeing the update. So I do apologize. I'm sorry. I will definitely be back in Vikings gear tomorrow. I have a couple appointments, but I should be done at my normal time and be ready for our 4:00 start. So I do apologize for everybody. So I just want to get a little bit of that rant out of the way, guys, because I really wanted you guys to feel what I'm saying. But let's get to this recap. And before we do that, let's start the intro. Hey, all right. But like I was saying, guys, in the post-game reaction with Q-Dog, I really like what this team has at its core. We have the ability to come up with some massive defensive stops. We like I was predicting that I felt like the Eagles would have a rough start to the game due to the defense coming up big and struggling with the noise at US Bank Stadium. And outside of that first drive, it was very much the case. And if we don't throw those two interceptions, I think the game goes completely different. Even if we just get the one touchdown and a whole bunch of field goals, it might turn out a different way. Like, I don't know for sure, but what gives me confidence in this team is that this team looks exactly how I've been trying to articulate or let you guys know of my assessment of this team. We are a team that has a lot of potential. We have the ability to stay in games, and all we're missing is that ability to close games out. And that's basically the skill set that we're trying to grow into, because that's the skill set that we need to hone in and be strong in order to advance in the playoffs. Last year I was saying, this year that I was saying that every game gave us a learning experience that we're now using this year to keep games close. In previous years or lesser teams, they go down after a pick six like that and then a wild interception, and they just get demoralized. Not our team. So to me, that's a positive. Outside of a handful of plays, so the botch snap, the holding plays against Brandell that was probably questionable, the holding penalty in the second part of the game against Grenard where he was losing his mind, and that drive led to the touchdown to A.J. Brown, which set up that last play where he ended up beating Isaiah Rodgers, right? So, and then on top of that, the two plays that A.J. Brown had at the beginning of the game, the one where he adjusted on the fly with Hurts and adjusted his route and ran upfield while he had Metellus on his back. So a linebacker versus a talented receiver like that, you just have to tip your cap off to plays like that on the spontaneous kind of like on the fly. You just have to accept plays like that. There's always going to be plays like that. We come away with plays like that too. So it is what it is. Outside of those plays, the two failed defensive plays, one at the very end that kind of cost us the chance at a comeback, or our last shot at a comeback, and those specific plays. Outside of that, the O-line played really well. Because we were so behind, we weren't able to run the ball as much as we wanted to. Let me pull up how many rushing attempts did. So let me see here. So we had 23 rushing attempts, right? And we had a ton of passes. I was only able to watch today at lunch while I was waiting because I had like an hour break because I was getting like a lot of people were coming home from Toronto because they went out to Toronto for the game and they were partying and stayed later and they missed their bus or whatever. So I got a bunch of appointments. So today, so I had like an hour and a half break. So I managed to get to a good spot where I got some decent Wi-Fi. I know why it was decent reception, and I was able to get a full, just one viewing because I've been so busy of the game. And for the most part, I think the game was played really, really well. Outside of those handful of situations, that discipline, consistency, it would have been a completely different game. That's the type of game that we want from our team, you know? But it's really, really hard to overcome those breakdowns at times, as well as those turnovers, right? And I'm not entirely upset at Carson Wentz, although I know that he was the major reason why we ended up losing the game. The reason why is because he's a backup quarterback. So those mistakes are the exact mistakes that I anticipate from him. So I anticipate him or panicking and while getting rushed and trying to roll out or try in making bad throws, missing linebackers, missing safeties, or just throwing up Hail Marys or prayers like that, right? So it is what it is. You live with a sword, you die by the sword. So if you're gonna run with a backup quarterback, it comes with it. So for me, I want to look at the things that we did really well. Our O-line play was pretty good. We ended up having a total of 23 rushes on the game. So it looks like we did attempt at getting a rushing game started, but because we were behind so long, we had to revert to a lot of the passing game, which is totally normal. 23, and I saw a lot of quick passes, a lot of passes that basically convert the same as a quick run. So we're trying to get the same effect as a good running game. Maybe with Aaron Jones back in the mix, maybe we can kind of get some better feel to our running game. Maybe we can get some more consistency. But yeah, I feel like we did really well in the O-line. I feel like Addison had a big game. Jettis had a good game. He had a total of 79, so 80 yards. You know what I mean? That's pretty good. I wish he would have came down with that catch in the end zone. Normally, even when a defender gets a hand in the middle or even gets a hand on the ball, he's got that grip strength and the strength to still come down with it. Just very uncharacteristic. You just gotta. It just happens, you know. Not everybody can be perfect. But Jordan Addison with a massive game, 128 yards, right? So we're doing a lot of good things. T.J. Hawkinson had a bunch of quick short passes that extended drives. So we were doing a lot of good things, and just the mistakes that we made were just too big and too many of them. I can understand having a whole bunch of false starts, but if we don't have any turnovers, it makes it a little bit easier to come back from that. Like we did against the Jaguars last year, where we totally came from just messed up the start of the game and had to come back from behind to win that game, right? So a lot of the lessons that we learned last year, I see that they're being a factor in how we are able to fight in these games. So that's what I like to see from this team. Mr. Zoe, what's going on, brother? Thank you for tuning in, brother. Man, I've been so busy. I just had a whole bunch of appointments at Toronto today, so I'm still in my gear from being in the 416. So I didn't even get a chance to I don't even know. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to rewash my jerseys because I know I put them to wash on Sunday and I didn't even get a chance. Either way, that's my own problem, my own stupidity. But yeah, the important part for me is the resiliency that we showed, the fact that we almost brought it back. Those are the things that are gonna be our foundation. And when we start getting the consistency, when we start being more disciplined, is once we get more and more of our full roster on the field, we're gonna do a lot better. And I feel like like I've been saying, I feel like the consistency is gonna come in the second half of the season. I feel like it's gonna be a roller coaster. That's what I started the season saying, and then I evolved that into the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde season, where it's one great game, one bad game, one great game, one bad game. That trend continues, and that's just signs of a team that's battling adversity. Right? We got a ton of injuries on the O line. We got an injury to our quarterback. We can't even let the young man try to get to a stage so that he can start turning things around and become more consistent and prove that he is the right guy. And I still believe he is. I'm not going to gather much from a 2-game sample size because all the guys that we're gathering and making conclusions after Carson Wentz played one game are the same people right now that are losing their mind. You know, I know it's been released. I've seen, because I've been scrolling through Twitter or X. Man, I'm old. And I've seen a lot of fans complaining that I saw that Carson Wentz was named the quarterback for Thursday's game. I saw that they try to give JJ a run at first rep practices today, but the pain is just not to a standard where they're comfortable letting him play. And I heard a good point, but I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but a channel said it might have been Tyler Fournette, because he's got really, really good objective points as well. And I think it was him, or maybe somebody else said that, you know, him playing an entire fourth quarter in that Falcons game with an injured ankle is what led to him being out this long. You know, and his toughness, his greatness to want to stay in there and battle, because he is has that type of mentality, and he is that type of leader. He doesn't want to, you know what I mean? He's like me. If I'm in the war, I don't care if I'm, you know what I mean? I'm bleeding, or I've lost an arm. I don't care. I need to be there with my boys. And they depend on me to cover their six or be focused on what my duties are. So, and I depend on them. So, I understand it. I get that too, that like there's the logical side of me says things like, but that's just a dumb way of looking at things, especially when it's not in context of like life and death or war. And when it comes to football, when you have the luxury of being able to be like, hey, this ankle hurts too much. Put Brosmer in, put Wentz in here for the remainder of the game. That way he could have been back sooner, you know. Logic doesn't always prevail when emotions run high. So I'm not as disappointed as people are. I would have liked to have seen Max Brosmer start if they were that upset, but I totally get it. You know, Carson Wentz was brought in here to play a job, to do a job, and that's to be the backup quarterback. And he's been servicing exactly what a career backup should be doing. 3-3. 3-3 is basically, that record kind of signifies where we're at, you know? And it's okay. I think that he can bounce back. It's going to be a rough game. Maybe, I don't know. Things might change. He might show up, wake up with soreness, and it might be a game time decision that Brosmer starts, because, you know, as the week goes on, that shoulder, which he was definitely grimacing and wincing and grabbing onto at the end of that game, might not be well enough for him to play. So it's still up in the air, even though he is named the starter. So, but man, I really wanted to see JJ start this week. I wanted to see what the kid can do. I want to see him see some meaningful snaps and can keep building towards his time on the field, because he needs to develop. He needs to grow. One way or another, we need to know by the end of the year. Worst case scenario, it's really bad and we know he's not him, and we can transition in the offseason. Best case scenario, he proves that he is the right guy and he is moving at the right pace, and he has shown enough in the flashes that he's put together this season. And we roll with him next year. And then hopefully next year he gets a full year injury-free and it's not a backup carousel. I really don't want to see Geno Smith or Mac Jones show up and be our backup next year. I want to see Max Brosmer. I want to see him be the backup, and I want to see JJ be the backup, the starter in front of him, so that these two young guys grow together, and they develop that ability to kind of play off each other and a brotherhood, because they came in at the same time, and they can relate, and that friendly competition and that boost kind of can lead to where I envision us being by the end of next year or even the year after that, where we're really a real front runner, not a dark horse like we are now. I don't even know if we can be considered a dark horse yet, but maybe next year we might be considering a dark horse. Like I said, this going into this season, I feel like our high is like 12 wins, our low might be 9 wins. I feel like with Carson Wentz or JJ McCarthy, we have the exact same chances of squeaking into the playoffs. And if we can get that, man, get JJ a start in the playoffs, get him to feel what that atmosphere is, get him to feel what that speed is, what it feels, what it means to prepare for that, deal with the media, all that fun stuff, because then next year he can roll with it. It can help his development. I really have hope and faith that he will take a big step next year, but he needs to get on the field. And I don't care that he's going to start against the Lions and people saying, oh, it's going to be such a bad matchup. I don't care what the team is, how good the team is, because going forward, he's going to play good teams, and he's going to play good teams multiple times a year. And the NFC is definitely got some stiff competition. So what are we babying him for? So I get that the pain might be too much, but hey, maybe we get the best case scenario Thursday morning after the walkthrough or whatever on Thursday. He's like, hey, I gave it a little bit harder on yesterday and no pain. I might be able to go. Maybe we get a last minute switch up. I don't know. I don't know if that's possible, because he's going to be designated the emergency, but I just want him to start, because we got a lot of football to go. We got 11 games still this season, and then he can learn a lot and prove a lot in 11 games. He might only get 10. Hey, we might end up getting a bunch of injuries, and he might start this week and get 10 and a half games, 10 and a quarter. I don't know, but I want to see him on the field. I want to see what this team can do when we're fully healthy. I can see the foundation that we have. We have a strong defense, and one of the key factors that I said that we needed to do is we needed to come up with a middle of the pack, or maybe just slightly above average, a respectable run defense, so that teams don't feel comfortable running on 4th and 1 on us like it doesn't matter, like it has the previous weeks. And we did that, and I think that has to do with Blake Cashman coming back. He is a fantastic leader. That combination between him and Wilson on the field was awesome. They contributed a lot to that late of that first quarter and that second quarter where the Eagles couldn't get anything going, right? So a lesser team might not be able to handle that, even when we're digging ourselves a hole, right? So we still got a lot of winnable games coming forward, and I think we got a lot of experience that this team definitely needs to go throughout this season. We dealt with the injury bug at the beginning of the year, okay? That adversity and that experience is going to come back and help us later. Injuries happen going into the playoffs, at the end of the year, in the playoffs. So having the confidence knowing that even when things are bad and when we have injuries, we can find ways to win like we have already. We have 3 wins. If we were as bad as people say, we'd be 0-6 right now. Let's be real. But we're not, because we're not that team. We're not at the bottom of the barrel. We're comfortably at the middle of the pack. And I think that once we get fully healthy, once JJ starts getting a couple starts underneath his belt, and he starts getting that confidence and we start rolling, I think that we have the ability to rise up to be in that 13, 14, 13, 12, 11, maybe even reach a 10th spot overall in the league based on what we have, which means that once next year comes, we have that potential to be a top 10 team consistently. Knock on wood. Hopefully we don't suffer the injury bug like we did this year. And we can have a more functional start to the season, get the ball rolling so that we're not doing this one step forward, one step back thing like we have. But guys, I'm very proud of this team. Frustrated with the loss, no doubt. No freaking doubt. But the foundation, the read on this team that I have, I'm seeing the team that I imagined we would be. So maybe that's where my confidence comes from. And I wish I could just plug like a USB into my head so you guys could see the visions and the calculations and all the freaking everything that I see so you guys can feel the way that I do. And yeah, I think we showed a lot of heart. I think we showed a lot of potential. A lot of potential that teams out here right now are dying to have. Look at the Jets. Look at the Dolphins. Look at the Titans. Man, as good as the Giants looked like last week, they fell apart yet last week. And that one hurt me too because I picked the Giants to win. So that one hurt me too because I have a soft spot for them. I know I've told you guys that, but hey, that's football. And I think the best is yet to come, guys. So please, don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. The storm is always the loudest or the worst before it breaks. The night is always the darkest before dawn. And let's be real. We haven't gotten that dark. Really dark would be 0-6. But we're 3-3 with a chance to redeem ourselves, to put together a bunch of wins, and look at the way the season's going. There's no clear front runner. Teams that are locked in to win are losing. Teams that are, really, really good one week come out really, really bad another week. We have games like the Panthers versus the Cowboys where they totally keep up in the boat race there, and then they go out against the Jets and win 13-11 or whatever it was. This season is anyone's season, especially this early. I'm not going to bank on other teams losing or whatnot, or kind of give credence to like, man, we really need other teams to help. No. Our destiny is rightfully in our hands. If we were in the same position as the Ravens, maybe so. Yeah, man, we really need everybody to lose. We need a bunch of teams to lose so we can squeak in the wild card. That's not us. We have the power still in our hands. And if we can continue to string some wins together when it counts, beat some teams that matter, it's going to be a fun end of the season. And I'm hoping that by that time we are fully healthy and we're the most consistent and disciplined by that time. Forged in the fire, right? Maybe that should maybe be the motto of the season. Minnesota Vikings 2025, forged in fire. The best is yet to come, guys. Guys, I totally went on a rant there, and I just kind of spoke from the heart. I really wanted to go through a bunch of these stats and kind of give you guys my perspective, my breakdown, my recap. But like I was saying, that overall, outside of those big mistakes, that consistency and that discipline, if we had that, if Carson Wentz doesn't dig us a hole like that, that game is a whole different story. And that's on us. It's on nobody else. If we had completed all that, none of the holding penalties, none of those dynamic plays that A.J. Brown pulled off, those might not have even played a factor. So, keep your head up. Keep your head up, Vikings fans. I'm telling you, the best is still to come. All right, let's check in with the chat. Cody, Eric, New Mexico in the house. Eric, Raquel, and Florinda. My freaking guy, man. OG Cody as well. Now, Cody asked a good question. Why do they trust Carson Wentz so much? I don't get it. The reason being, Cody, is because out of all the three quarterbacks that we have, Carson Wentz has the highest floor out of all of them right now. As of right now, as of October 21st, 2025, Carson Wentz has a higher ceiling than Max Brosmer as well as J.J. McCarthy. But that's supposed to be the case when you're a career backup and you have 10 years experience in the league. So, of course, they're going to have a little bit more faith in him. And he's been able to keep us in games and bring us back in complete comebacks, you know? And I think KOC sees that Carson Wentz does a decent job of accomplishing his vision. Because I made a realization last week, because I think it was 07 or 08 when I was in college, and I learned how to play Madden because I used to get blown out in Madden. Because I never had any experience. I had just gotten into football in 08, and 09 was the first season where I watched the Vikings like every game. The season before, I just watched any game and was like, ooh, whichever superstar was playing, I was like, that's the game that I'm watching because that's going to be the best game of the weekend. I only watched like one, maybe two games. But so I didn't really know how to win at Madden. And then I spent a lot of time watching the Patriots. And in that season, the Patriots basically won every game from behind. They deferred every kick and made sure they had the ball to start the second half. And they did the best that they could and got as many points as they could in the first half. And sometimes it wasn't even a lot. It might have just been 7 points, and the other team might have gone up 21-7. And they make some massive adjustments at the second half, and then they took over. And they would pull off the comeback. The defense adjusted appropriately. Brian Flores, I believe it was the second year as the defensive coordinator there. So, yeah, it was a lot of the same thing that we're doing now. But I get it. I go back and I Google search like 2006, 2007, 2008, like Patriots forums and stuff like that to see what people were saying. And man, people were losing their minds like we're losing our minds when we're playing from behind. But you know what happened? More times than not, playing from behind, they won. And guess what? A couple years later, they were drastically behind in the Super Bowl. 24-3 or whatever it was. 24-6. I forget the exact score against the Falcons. And it was funny because I held a Super Bowl party that year. And the first half, everybody, like, because it was kind of like a Patriots Super Bowl party because I had fallen in love with them and what they were doing. Right. And so that was the year I think that I was starting I went from being skeptical to Brady and the Pats to being a fan and respecting them. And I remember that game, like half the people from my party left because they're like, I'm going to go over to my buddy's house. He's having an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl themed party. So I'm going to go see them. I was like, hey, don't worry, guys. But guys, I kept saying, guys, this is the team. If anybody can bring this game back, they can do it. I know they had a little bit of help from the Falcons and Matty Rice. Man, he's a terrible quarterback. But he was, Chris, what's going on, buddy? But they brought it back. In that season that I watched, when I watched basically almost every game, the Patriots won from behind in the second half and a lot of one-score games. That experience is what helped them overcome that adversity that they faced in the Super Bowl, right? And that's what I'm saying. The adversity that we faced last year is helping us learn how to fight this year. It's given us the confidence. It gives us that ability to never quit. And that is a fundamental skill that all playoff teams must have, on top of the experience to draw upon when things go wrong in the playoffs. And we got a lot of that experience. So, like I said, keep your head up, Vikings fans. I feel like the best is yet to come. I coined it today, 2025. Minnesota Vikings, forged in fire. So, I think it's going to be a good season. I feel like once we get rolling, get fully healthy, and we'll start getting that consistency. We'll start becoming more disciplined. And I feel like we're going to be in for a fun end of the season that a lot of people probably don't see yet. So, it is what it is, guys. Just smile and be happy, guys. It's football. We have one of the best franchises in all football, all-time winning franchise. The best thing about our organization is that we don't give up trying to win the Super Bowl. We don't just come up with we use the same strategy every single time. We came up with a massive defensive effort with the Purple People Eaters. We came in with a high-powered offense. We tried with a balanced team. We went back to, first we went with Purple Rain and the defensive-minded, hard-nosed defense wins championship. We went back to that. We tried that. We went back and we tried with the miracle chance with oh my goodness. Diggs got a pass thrown to by Case Keenum. And then we tried to put a balanced team together in the Kirk Cousins / Brian Flores tenure, right? We keep trying different ways to get to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. Those are the signs of an organization that wants to win and is willing to do everything in their power to win. You know, it reminds me of the movie Moneyball, where the Oakland A's were kind of the laughingstock with the roster that they fielded that season, right? They didn't see the vision. You know, a lot of people don't see the vision that Kwesi has. They don't see the vision that KOC has. But they do. And before that vision in that strategy, that outside of the box thinking actually comes true and provides a Super Bowl or some tangible results. Up until that moment, nobody's going to believe. Right? Nobody believed in those Oakland A's up until they made the playoffs and looked like a team that could actually do something. They went on a massive win streak, right? They saw something that nobody else saw, right? KOC is kind of like that. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is very much like that, you know? He's got a different philosophy. I don't know why he likes to build more through free agency than the draft. It's not like he's not trying to go and taking swings in the draft, because he is. He definitely is. But he has a different way of seeing things. And different, outside of the box, doesn't always mean bad. I get it. We're in the social media age. We're impatient. Everybody's impatient. But that's why they say that patience is a virtue. That's why they say wisdom is better than intelligence. Because the wise never make a mistake that an intelligent person has to learn and go through and then adjust and overcome, right? Totally different Totally same results, but totally different path to getting there. I don't know 1,000% that that's what's going on in the mind of Kwesi, KOC, but I see a lot of great things in the foundation that we have. And I think that going forward, now that hopefully we've stabilized our run defense, I think we're going to give a lot of teams a hard fought game. And hell, we might even win a bunch of those where people didn't think we would. And maybe sometimes being in the situation that we're in right now, being firmly in everybody's blind spot, is the exact place that we need to be in so that we can quietly work and catch people off guard. And when it's too late, when they realize it's too late, we'll be the ones laughing. We'll be the ones in control. The steamroller will be moving too fast for anybody to stop. So have faith, guys. Have patience. I know, I get it. A lot of people are upset that Carson Wentz is starting this week, but you know what? I'm not. That's what quarterbacks are, backup quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks are supposed to do. They're supposed to be the ones that are ready to turn around in a short week and perform. Hopefully this time, he doesn't make as many mistakes. And this defense and the offense can come alive at the right times and come away with a nice victory. All right, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining with me today and hearing me out. I wish I could have given you guys a really in-depth, thorough breakdown or recap like I normally do. Like I was saying, with the Jays Game 7 and everything, like a bunch of car services got filled up, and it was a blessing in disguise for me because I ended up getting a ton of extra clients this last 2 days. So I managed to get home just in time, and I was not going to allow how tired I am to keep me from speaking to you guys and letting you guys know what I feel, because I think the best is yet to come. We'll see. Mark my words. All right, guys. I love you guys. Every single one of you. I don't even care what your fan base is. I don't care what position you take on this team. I still love you. I still want the best for you. I still want this team to succeed so then that frustration and that pain can just be washed away from you. That's what I want for this Vikings fan base. I want you guys to feel the joy of a Super Bowl win and to wash away all that came before. You guys deserve it. I know you deserve it. That's why I'm going to continue to be a positive, optimistic guy for you guys. So for you, those of you guys that need someone to say something nice or positive, have a place to be. Again, we'll never ignore the signs. We'll always talk about the things that we need to work on. We'll always be objective. All right, guys, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so please don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope to reach there by the end of the calendar year. Again, I love you all. Have a great day. Mm-hmm.